Hello and welcome back. Today we are going to be talking about places to vacation that are not a Disney park. I know, shock, because that is my go-to, but there are other places to vacation and I want to talk about them with you today. Now, obviously, there are so many places you could go on vacation. So these are just a few. These are my top picks, places that we have personally vacationed or I would like to vacation in the near future. So that is kind of how I narrowed down my list. Some of these, three of these actually, I wouldn't mind going to, but they really aren't on my list of must-dos. But I know a lot of people really like going to them. So I want to go ahead and mention them because most people do want to do these. So let's get going. All right, so first off, let's start with the ones that are most like a Disney experience. If Disney's kind of that experience is what you're looking for, these places will give you that similar vibe. Not quite the same, obviously, but it's about as close as you can get outside of Disney. All right, and these are also located in Orlando area or the Los Angeles area, depending on which side you are. And then there is some in Texas. I believe it's near San Antonio. I could be wrong on that. Don't hold me to it. But that is Universal Studios. They have multiple parks that you can visit, and this is going to be the most similar to a Disney experience that you can get without actually going to a Disney park. They have themed rides, they have lots of theming around the parks, and most people I know that go to Universal Studios love it. So you probably can't go wrong with Universal. I am not a huge Universal fan simply because I am not a big roller coaster person, and they do have a lot of roller coasters. But I have not actually been to Universal. I have just studied Universal a lot with my travel agency that I did for a while, and then just trying to figure out places to go. I have looked into it a lot, and it does look like a lot of fun, especially if you like roller coasters. I personally am just not a huge roller coaster person. But Universal does have a little bit for everyone, so it's not just roller coasters. So check it out. It might be somewhere that you and your family would enjoy. That saying, how I said I'm not a huge fan, I do think there are parts of Universal that the rest of my family would probably really like. So one day we probably will make it to Universal. It's just not on my short list. All right, the other two places I wanted to mention that are kind of in the same category would be SeaWorld and Legoland. They also have these, Texas, East Coast, West Coast. So there are multiple options for this as well. And I do not believe that SeaWorld and Legoland are multi-day parks. Like Disney and Universal, you can spend 2, 3, and of course Disney, you can spend 6, 7. You could keep going, there's so much. But SeaWorld and Legoland are not quite that big. So if you were looking at doing this option, I would probably group these two together and be sure to hit SeaWorld and Legoland, or even possibly do Universal, SeaWorld, and Legoland all in one experience. Let me go back. Universal has a lot of very nice hotels to stay at. So if you are going to do a grouping of these 3 theme parks, I would highly recommend checking out Universal's hotels. They look amazing. I have not personally stayed at them, but I would like to one day because they have some great options at a really nice price point and they look very nice. All right, now let's move on to outside. There are a ton of outdoorsy vacations that you can do. Some of my favorite are Mount Rushmore, Yellowstone, and the Grand Canyon. Now, those are not anywhere nearby. I probably would not do all those in the same trip. I don't know that it's even possible to do them all in the same trip. Maybe Mount Rushmore and Yellowstone, but it would be a lot of driving. So depending on kind of where you're starting out. But those are my top 3 outdoorsy vacations. I have been to all 3. I think they are great experiences and worth doing at least once in a lifetime. Mount Rushmore does not have a whole lot to do there. So maybe 2-3 days tops in that area if you really look for things to do and fully experience things. But obviously you can always find a great hotel and spend a lot of time just maybe lounging at the pool or enjoying the beautiful scenery. You know, you can kind of stretch that out depending on what you're looking for. But it is neat. It is worth going to at least once in your life. So yes, those are the 3 outdoors ones. Then there's always the beach. The beach is another favorite vacation spot of mine, and I really don't feel like you can go wrong with the beach. I enjoy just sitting and looking at the water. It keeps me entertained all week long, even though you're really not doing anything. So the beach is always a great vacation choice. All right, now let's get into some maybe not quite so obvious vacation spots, and that would be Branson, Missouri. Branson, Missouri is just south of us, not too far. I have done several videos on reviews of places around, and I plan to do more as I can. I'm not able to make it down there as much as I would like to, but there is lots to do in Branson. They have an amusement park called Silver Dollar City, and a lot of people love Silver Dollar City. It also has quite a few roller coasters, but there is other things to do that aren't just roller coasters. If you are like me and you don't like roller coasters, they do have a few other slower paced rides and lots of shopping and lots of food. They're kind of known for their arts and crafts and food. So there are other things to do at Silver Dollar City. There's a little bit for everyone. So I would say though, it is probably a one-day park. I don't know that you would find enough to do for 2 days. But Branson has lots of other things to do to keep you entertained on those days that you weren't at a theme park. They also have great hotels and resorts. A lot of them are right on the lake, and there's also quite a few Airbnbs if you really want to be right up on the lake and just enjoy. All right, another one that's similar to Branson is Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. They have Dollywood, and then like Branson, they also have other things to do on your days that you would not be at an amusement park. And I have not actually been to Pigeon Forge, so I cannot give you a ton of details. I only know what I have personally researched, and it does look like it would be a fun, mountainous, Tennessee mountain-ish type of experience and lots of fun things to do, and I have heard lots of great reviews from Dollywood. I would like to make it out there one day because it sounds like a pretty neat amusement park. Very similar to Silver Dollar City, but with a little bit different of a theming, so I think it'd be worth checking out at least once. All right, and then there is Colorado. I grew up in Colorado, so this is a go-to for me just because I am very familiar with Colorado. I am very comfortable in Colorado, and I still have family in Colorado, so that is somewhere we end up going often. But Colorado can actually be a great place to vacation in the summer. I know a lot of people think skiing in the winter, but there's a lot to do in the summer too. I would highly recommend going to Colorado Springs. Colorado Springs has a lot to do around the mountains. You can go up Pikes Peak. You can go to the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo. There's Seven Falls and Helen Hunt Falls. Helen Hunt Falls, side tip, is free, and it is similar to Seven Falls. It is not quite as big and grand and amazing, but it is free. Seven Falls is quite pricey, so if you want something that is similar without the price tag, check out Helen Hunt Falls. Just side tip there. So, and there's so many other things. You can do the Cog Railroad. You can go a little further south to Pueblo and Canyon City. You can ride the train that goes through the Royal Gorge Canyon. You can go to the Royal Gorge. There's a giant bridge over the canyon. It's a really neat experience, and that's just south of Colorado Springs. If you go over to the other side of Colorado, far west corner, there is Four Corners and Mesa Verde. I love Mesa Verde. My children have not been, and it is on my short list to do. I really want to take them to Mesa Verde. It is a very unique and interesting experience. I have been several times, and I would definitely like to go again. Now, if you go a little bit further over into Utah, you could also hit up Arches National Park, and this is also on my to-do list. I would love to do a southern Colorado and Utah trip and hit up Arches and Mesa Verde. I think that would be an awesome trip, and that is a more outdoorsy type of trip as well, but definitely worth looking into. So those are my top few non-Disney vacation spots that I could come up with just quickly off the top of my head. Most of those are on my list of I would like to do. I hope you guys found this helpful and maybe gave you inspiration for where you should take your family on vacation. I would love to hear what your vacation plans are for this coming year or even next year. Leave a comment down below and let me know where you are going or where you have just been. We would all like to know and add it to our list of must-do places. If you liked this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.